Welcome back to the channel, USA Coins 69, coin lovers, collectors, and curious treasure seekers. Today, we're about to peel back the layers of time and uncover the remarkable story of one of America's most iconic coins, a coin so common, so familiar, that it might be sitting right now in your old piggy bank, at the bottom of a drawer, or hiding in plain sight in your spare change. We're talking about the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny, yes, the 1-cent coin. The smallest denomination in U.S. currency. The coin that people often drop and leave behind without a second thought. But as you're about to find out, there's a version of the 1954 wheat penny that could be worth more than a luxury car, more than a year's salary, even more than a brand new home, all that, packed into one tiny copper coin. So buckle up, because we're diving deep into the hidden world of mint marks, historical backdrops, and rare errors, and revealing how a 1954 Lincoln wheat penny went from pocket change to priceless treasure. Let's begin by setting the stage. The year is 1954. Post-war America was in full swing. The economy was booming, baby boomers were being born, and the American dream was alive and well. Across the country, televisions were entering homes, Elvis Presley was just starting his rise to fame, and in Washington, President Dwight D. Eisenhower was leading the nation into a new era of prosperity. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing billions of coins to fuel this thriving economy, and among them, the humble wheat penny. But don't let the word humble fool you. The 1954 Lincoln wheat penny is part of a legendary coin lineage that traces back to 1909, the year Abraham Lincoln became the first real person to appear on a U.S. coin. The wheat reverse design, created by Victor David Brenner, was chosen to symbolize prosperity and national pride. For over half a century, this design captured the essence of the American spirit. Now, let's zoom in on the 1954 version. On the obverse, or front side, you see the right-facing profile of President Lincoln, solemn, dignified, and immediately recognizable. Above him reads, "In God We Trust." To the left, Liberty. And to the right, the year, 1954. Simple. Bold. Timeless. Flip it over, and you're met with the beautifully symmetrical wheat ears, curving along the left and right sides of the coin. Between them, the words, 1 cent, United States of America, and above it all, the proud Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, out of many, 1. With all that in mind, what makes the 1954 wheat penny so special? As with many coins, the answer lies in the details. Specifically, mint marks, condition, and errors. Let's start with mint marks. In 1954, Lincoln pennies were minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Each mint produced different quantities, and over time, some mint-marked versions have become significantly more scarce. The 1954 S penny, for example, had one of the lower mintages, making it more desirable to collectors. Meanwhile, the Denver and Philadelphia mints produced larger numbers, but that doesn't mean those coins are less valuable, because here's where the second factor comes into play: condition. Most of the 1954 pennies you find today are worn out, scratched, faded. They've been through countless hands, machines, wallets, and pockets over the decades. That's expected for coins that were once used every day, but every once in a while, something rare happens. A coin survives in near-perfect condition, bright, shiny, untouched. These high-grade coins, especially those graded mint state, MS65 or above, are like time capsules, preserved as they were on the day they left the mint. Collectors are obsessed with these. They're rare, beautiful, and almost impossible to find, and when combined with our third factor, they can skyrocket in value. That third factor? Errors. Minting errors are the holy grail of coin collecting. They happen when something goes wrong in the coin-making process, and in the case of the 1954 penny, those mistakes turned out to be worth their weight in gold. Some 1954 wheat pennies were struck with double dies, where the image was pressed twice by the die and caused doubling of the letters or numbers, a visually stunning and extremely valuable error. Others were struck off-center, or with die cracks, clipped planchets, or even on the wrong metal blanks. These rare mistakes usually happened in small batches, and often went unnoticed at the time. But today? They are pure treasure for collectors. Let me give you a scenario. Imagine you find a 1954 penny with a D mint mark. It looks clean, really clean. You notice that the Liberty and the In God We Trust seem different. There's a shadowy effect. You take a magnifier and realize it's a double die error, perfectly visible. You get it graded. It comes back as MS66. What you've got there is no ordinary coin. That's not a penny anymore, that's history, rarity, and value rolled into one. But now we come to the most exciting part of this story. Among all the 1954 Lincoln wheat pennies ever discovered, there exists one that stunned the coin collecting world. A penny that combined all three of the golden elements: a rare mint mark, a dramatic minting error, and near flawless condition. It was examined, authenticated, and preserved by top grading agencies. And when it finally went to auction, collectors from around the globe showed up. Bids poured in. The price climbed. And when the final gavel dropped, this 1-cent coin sold for a jaw-dropping figure. That lucky penny, once worth just a cent, sold for an astonishing total of $210,000 US. Yes. You heard that right. 1 single penny from 1954. Worth $210,000, and the craziest part? There may still be more out there, hidden in forgotten coin jars. Tucked in old drawers. Sitting unnoticed in inherited collections. These coins are waiting to be discovered by someone with a sharp eye and a little curiosity. Today, we're uncovering a story that combines history, rarity, and a bit of mystery, all wrapped up in one of the most beloved and iconic coins ever produced by the United States Mint. I'm talking about the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance but could be hiding an extraordinary secret beneath its copper surface. If you think pennies are just loose change, prepare to have your mind blown, because this little piece of metal might be worth more than a luxury car, a down payment on a house, or even a small fortune. Let's rewind time to 1949. America was just beginning to recover from the aftermath of World War II. The economy was growing rapidly. Families were building new lives, neighborhoods were expanding, and the spirit of hope and renewal filled the air. It was a pivotal era in American history, one where tradition met innovation, and during this time, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of coins to fuel a bustling economy, and one of the staples of everyday life was the Lincoln wheat penny. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had become a symbol of American resilience and patriotism. The reverse design, featuring 2 stalks of wheat, represented prosperity and the nation's agricultural heritage. This design remained in circulation until 1958, making these pennies a vital part of the American monetary system for nearly half a century. The 1949 penny is no exception. On the front, you see the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, serious and stoic, surrounded by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1949. Flip it over, and the wheat ears frame the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, with the motto, E pluribus unum, arching above. But here's where things get interesting. The value of a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny depends on a few crucial factors: mint mark, condition, and the presence of any rare errors or varieties. In 1949, pennies were minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, which did not use a mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. Each mint produced different quantities, and coins from some mints are scarcer than others. For example, the 1949 S penny had a relatively lower mintage compared to the Philadelphia and Denver versions, making it more sought after among collectors. But rarity is only part of the story. The true magic happens when you combine rarity with condition. Most pennies from 1949 have seen decades of circulation. They show signs of wear, scratches, fading, discoloration, signs of a coin's long life in pockets and cash registers. But mint state pennies, those that have escaped circulation and retained their original luster, are extremely rare. Their value can multiply exponentially simply because they are pristine, shiny, and almost untouched by time. However, the most fascinating aspect of the 1949 penny lies in the realm of mint errors, those unexpected, accidental quirks in the coin-making process that turn ordinary pennies into numismatic treasures. Some 1949 pennies were struck with double dies, creating a fascinating doubling effect on the lettering and numbers. Others suffered from off-center strikes, where the coin's design appears shifted or incomplete, or die cracks, faint lines caused by a cracked engraving die that transfers to the coin's surface. There are also rare instances of clipped planchets, where the blank metal disc is improperly cut, or coins struck on the wrong metal, making them incredibly scarce and highly valuable. Imagine this scenario. You stumble upon a 1949 D penny in your collection. It looks flawless, with a clear, sharp D mint mark and the unmistakable wheat ears on the back. Upon closer inspection, you notice subtle doubling in the date and letters, a clear sign of a double die error. You take it to a professional grading service, and after expert analysis, your coin comes back graded MS66 or better. What you're holding is no longer just a penny, it's a rare artifact, a piece of history, and a potential gold mine. Collectors around the world would pay top dollar for a coin like that. And when the right coin hits the market, it can fetch astonishing prices, which brings us to the moment of truth. Among all the 1949 Lincoln wheat pennies ever minted, there is one, a rare, flawless, mint state penny with a notable mint mark and an extraordinary minting error, that has shocked collectors and experts alike. This one coin, carefully preserved and authenticated, sold at auction for a staggering $250,000 US. Think about that for a second. A coin that originally cost just 1 cent to make, once used to buy a piece of gum or a newspaper, now worth $250,000. It's a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting, where history, chance, and condition collide to create incredible value. So, what should you do next, if you have a collection of old coins, especially pennies from the 1940s? Now is the perfect time to take a closer look. Use a magnifying glass, check the mint mark, study the details, and if you spot anything unusual, have it examined by a professional. You never know, that forgotten penny in your jar could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Today, we're turning back the clock over a century to explore one of the most fascinating coins ever struck in the United States, the 1917 Lincoln wheat penny. What may seem like a simple 1-cent coin is actually a time capsule that carries the weight of history, artistry, and incredible value. Imagine holding a piece of America from the World War I era, a coin that has witnessed more than 100 years of change, yet still carries the essence of an important time in our nation's story. This penny isn't just a coin, it's a symbol, a treasure, and potentially, a life-changing find. Let's start by setting the historical scene. The year is 1917. The United States has just entered World War I, joining the global conflict that reshaped the world. Domestically, the country was experiencing rapid industrial growth and social change. President Woodrow Wilson was leading the nation, and on the streets and in the pockets of Americans, the Lincoln wheat penny was circulating widely. The Lincoln penny had been introduced less than a decade before, in 1909, to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the first time a real person's likeness appeared on a U.S. coin. The wheat design on the reverse was a symbol of prosperity and the hard-working spirit of the American people. Now, the 1917 penny carries a story far beyond its design. The coins from this year were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, which struck coins without a mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. Each mint produced varying quantities, and among these, some mint marks are much rarer than others. For instance, the 1917 D penny is famously rare. Only a limited number were produced, and even fewer have survived in good condition. The 1917 S pennies, while more plentiful, have their own allure for collectors, especially when found in mint or near mint condition. Condition is king when it comes to coins. Most pennies from 1917 have been circulated heavily, worn down by decades of handling, weathering, and storage. But those that have survived with little wear, sharp details, vibrant surfaces, and no damage, are prized beyond measure. Beyond rarity and condition, the 1917 Lincoln wheat penny holds a special place in the world of numismatics due to its fascinating array of known varieties and mint errors. These unique quirks can make a coin exponentially more valuable. One of the most famous types of error coins from this era includes the double die varieties. This occurs when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, causing an effect where letters or numbers appear doubled. Imagine looking closely and seeing a shadow of the date or the words, Liberty or, In God We Trust, slightly offset. This is a thrilling find for collectors and can add thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars, to a coin's value. Other known anomalies include repunched mint marks, die cracks, and off-center strikes, each offering a unique story and rarity factor that collectors eagerly seek. To paint a picture, imagine this: you stumble upon a 1917 D penny in a family heirloom box. At first glance, it looks ordinary. But as you examine it under magnification, you discover a subtle doubling on the date and a perfectly struck D mint mark. The coin is in exceptional condition, with brilliant luster preserved through the decades. You send it to a professional grading service, and the coin returns with a Mint State 65 rating, meaning it's nearly flawless. This is no longer just a penny, it's a rare artifact. Collectors and investors alike covet such coins. Auctions and private sales for these rare, mint condition, and error-affected pennies regularly reach staggering figures. And now, for the ultimate reveal: among all 1917 Lincoln wheat pennies, there exists a truly extraordinary specimen, an ultra-rare Mint State 1917 penny with a Denver Mint mark and a rare die error that was preserved impeccably. This coin recently sold for an incredible $290,000 United States dollars. Yes, a single penny, once worth 1 cent, transformed over a century into a treasure valued at $290,000. It's a powerful reminder that even the smallest, most everyday objects can hold astonishing value, especially when they carry a rich story, rare features, and pristine condition. So, what can you do if you have a collection of old coins, especially pennies dating back to the early 20th century? Now's the time to take a close look. Use a magnifying glass, check the date and mint mark carefully, and look for any unusual markings or doubling effects. If you find something that looks out of the ordinary, get it professionally graded and authenticated. That one penny might just be a hidden treasure. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of one of America's most iconic coins, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny. At first glance, this penny might look like a humble piece of copper, but hidden beneath its surface lies a remarkable story of history, rarity, and staggering value that could change the way you think about the coins in your collection forever. The year 1944 was a pivotal moment in history. The world was in the throes of World War II, and the United States was fully mobilized, supporting the Allied forces both on the battlefield and at home. The economy was focused on wartime production, and every aspect of daily life was influenced by the conflict. Even the coins circulating in people's pockets tell a story about that era. The Lincoln wheat penny, which had been in circulation since 1909, was more than just currency. It was a symbol of resilience, unity, and hope. The obverse of the coin features Abraham Lincoln's dignified profile, reminding us of the nation's values and its struggle to uphold freedom and justice. The reverse shows 2 stalks of wheat, a tribute to America's agricultural heartland and the prosperity it sought to maintain despite the chaos of war. In 1944, the composition of pennies changed briefly. Due to wartime needs, pennies minted in 1943 were made from steel coated with zinc, to conserve copper for the war effort. But in 1944, the U.S. Mint returned to using mostly recycled copper from spent shell casings and other military equipment for penny production. This unique history gives the 1944 penny a special place in coin collecting circles. The 1944 pennies were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. Each of these mints produced millions of pennies, but today, coins that have survived in pristine condition are becoming increasingly rare. Most 1944 pennies have been worn down by decades of circulation, making well-preserved specimens highly prized among collectors. Condition is everything in the world of coins. The difference between a worn, everyday penny and one graded as Mint State can mean a dramatic difference in value. Mint State coins boast sharp details, brilliant luster, and no signs of wear, qualities that can elevate a simple penny to a collector's dream. Beyond condition, some 1944 pennies carry unique characteristics that make them even more valuable. A handful of these coins were struck on leftover 1943 steel planchets instead of the usual copper alloy, a minting error so rare it's almost legendary. These steel pennies from 1944 are incredibly scarce and sought after by collectors worldwide. There are also varieties and errors such as double dies or repunched mint marks, which can add tens of thousands of dollars to a coin's value. These subtle differences require a trained eye to spot but are highly rewarding discoveries. Imagine uncovering a 1944 D penny in your family's collection, gleaming with original shine, exhibiting a rare minting error, or preserved so well it looks almost brand new. This coin is no longer just a penny, it's a piece of history, an artifact from a defining era, and potentially a ticket to a substantial fortune. Collectors and investors understand this value. Auctions and private sales for rare and mint condition 1944 Lincoln wheat pennies have reached impressive sums, reflecting the coin's desirability and rarity. Now, the moment you've been waiting for, one of these extraordinary 1944 pennies, in pristine condition and with the right mint mark or error, has recently been valued at an astounding $270,000. Yes, you heard that right. 270,000 United States dollars for a coin that once cost only 1 cent. This incredible figure reminds us that treasures often hide in the most ordinary places. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny stands as a testament to the fascinating intersection of history, rarity, and the passionate world of numismatics. So, what's the takeaway? If you have a collection of pennies, especially those minted around the 1940s, take a moment to examine them closely. Check the date, the mint mark, and look for any signs of errors or unusual characteristics. Even a single penny could be your gateway into the world of high-value coin collecting. Today, we're embarking on an exciting journey into the world of one of America's most treasured collectibles, the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny. At first glance, it might just look like an ordinary copper penny, but as we dig deeper, you'll discover this small coin holds a fascinating story and an astonishing potential value that might surprise you. Let's rewind to 1937, a time when the United States was climbing out of the Great Depression. The country was slowly regaining its economic strength, and people were hopeful for a brighter future. The Lincoln wheat penny, first introduced in 1909, was well established as a symbol of American resilience and progress. Abraham Lincoln's dignified profile graced the front, while the reverse proudly displayed 2 stalks of wheat, a nod to the nation's agricultural roots and hard-working spirit. What makes the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny stand out isn't just its age or the history it represents, it's the mint mark and the coin's condition. The 1937 pennies were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, which did not use a mint mark, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. Among these, the Denver and San Francisco issues tend to catch the most collector interest, especially when found in excellent condition, but it's not just about where the coin was minted. Over the years, a number of 1937 Lincoln wheat pennies with unique features or rare minting errors have come to light, fueling the excitement in the numismatic community. For example, certain varieties such as the 1937 D 3/2 and double die pennies are known for their rarity and eye-catching anomalies. These subtle, yet distinctive errors occur during the minting process, making those pennies far more valuable than their common counterparts. Now, you might be wondering how collectors determine the true value of a coin like this. Well, condition plays an enormous role. Coins that have been well preserved, with sharp details, vibrant surfaces, and no major wear or damage, can command significantly higher prices. Most pennies from 1937 were used daily, and many show heavy signs of wear, which makes those rare specimens in mint or near mint condition all the more desirable. There's also the matter of provenance. Coins that come from famous collections or have been professionally graded and certified by reputable organizations often bring in much higher bids at auction. A 1937 Lincoln wheat penny that's been authenticated as a rare variety, or one in exceptional condition, becomes a prized possession for collectors and investors alike, and here's where it gets really exciting. Over the years, several 1937 Lincoln wheat pennies have surfaced that fit these criteria, either rare mint mark varieties, significant minting errors, or pristine condition examples that defy their age. These coins are not just tokens of history but coveted items that can attract astonishing offers. Imagine holding in your hand a flawless 1937 Lincoln wheat penny, showing off its crisp details and perfect luster, maybe even with a rare double die or repunched mint mark. It's a beautiful artifact of American history and a window into the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint during a transformative era. Collectors and investors recognize this value. Auctions and private sales have seen prices climb steadily, especially for those extraordinary coins that tick every box: rarity, condition, and provenance. And now, for the reveal you've been waiting for, one exceptional 1937 Lincoln wheat penny, boasting a rare mint mark and in impeccable condition, has been valued at an incredible $280,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, once worth just 1 cent, now valued at $280,000 United States dollars. This staggering value showcases how coins, no matter how small or seemingly ordinary, can hold tremendous worth when history, rarity, and condition come together. So, what's the takeaway? If you have a collection of old pennies, especially from the 1930s era, take a moment to examine them carefully. Look for the date, the mint mark, and any unusual features. Consider getting them professionally graded if you spot something special. That one penny might just be a hidden gem waiting to change your life. Thank you so much for joining me on this fascinating exploration of the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny. If you enjoyed this deep dive into American numismatic history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss a single coin story. Remember, the past can hold incredible treasures, and sometimes, that treasure is worth $280,000. Keep searching, keep collecting, and happy hunting.